I'm excited. I don't need to be excited. I need to be chilled. Did that work? Have we made an improvement? I don't need to be excited. I need to be chilled. Did that work? Have we made an improvement? I don't need to. Probably. We're on 30 fups now. 30 fups. Fuppers. And now with that, we'll edit all that out and it was just segue nicely the way we did it. And yeah, if I did have everyone in the world looking at me, maybe I could just vamp. Everyone in the world. Do you know what would be good about it is that some people would really like it. Everyone in the world was watching. Some people would go, "That's just what I've been looking for. That's to hit the nail on the head. I absolutely. That's the one. That's the one. That's the Bumbakana, more royal than the Majaraja. What you cut and call a weed is. Oh, don't say that on the internet. 45. Oh, now we're getting. Just as I change one thing, and then you're on at me for the next. Oh, I see this game. Next, I changed my kilobytes per second. The next thing you want me to do is to call up Bill Gates and ask him about those servers. I see where this leads. I'll be on a rocket with Elon Musk to Mars before you let me finish, won't I? I'll be driving electric cars on Mars with Elon Musk. Oh, this only started with the changing of a setting. Now look what you've got me into. Elon Musk could just be like, shut up, you're moaning all the time. So yeah, I will, it's good information. The kilobytes a second are going to, we're going to go with this for now. We're going to carry on with this for now. Because otherwise this will break my little thinking cap. Everybody in the world, if everyone in the world was watching, some of them would like it. Some of them would be into that. They'd be like, "This is bob on," and then other people would be like, "Yeah, don't really care for this." Some people would just get cross, wouldn't they? If everyone was watching, there'd be some people who were cross about it. There would. I tell you what, there'd be some people cross. What would I say? Be nice to the animals. Please be more kind to the animals. Have you considered that? If you've ever had an animal friend in your life, if you've ever had a pet that you've cared for, if you've ever shed a tear over an animal, consider all the animals feel like that, are like that, and they shed their own tears. Let's not keep eating them. We don't need to anymore. We've got all this cool science. We've got really loads of modern cool. Everyone's watching, sugar, everyone's watching. If everyone's watching, I'm reaching out to you in Africa, in Syria, in Rwanda. Hold on, help is coming. We care, I care. And I'm telling all these other people in the world that they should care as well. I mean, I'm not telling them. I think most of them do care, really. It's just we feel a bit disconnected and it's hard to know what to do to help you. But we've got charities, we've got growing movements, we've got our own civil rights issues and problems. As wonderful as this looks in our Western ivory tower, we've got all this lovely stuff and we're spending all the money and isn't it great, and but some of us do feel it. We see what's out there in the world, and our governments aren't always doing the best for us. They're not always thinking of ways to make our lives better. So hold on, help is on its way. We are thinking about you. That's if everyone's watching. God, if everyone was watching now, then that would make me feel really bad about just going on about like the little. Suddenly my problems don't seem so important, and suddenly I feel like I'm sitting again. I always say about being grateful, but I feel like I'm sitting in my house is heated. Oh, sorry, I'm not showing off. This is me. I'm like Jake Paul now, aren't I? To everyone in the world. I'm like, showing off. I don't know if he does show off. I haven't watched much of his stuff. Saw some of the boxing. Look, I'm not showing off. I'm not trying to rub your nose in it, but I understand that I'm really lucky. So, hopefully more people in the West get that vibe, and then we can try and help. It's not just the West, is it? I'm talking to the world, aren't I? So, any of us that are doing well. We can offer our hand to those that are less fortunate. So if I'm talking to everyone in the world, that's what I'd say. And then I'd probably try and do a joke. One that everyone would get, that they wouldn't all feel cross about. try and cheer them up a little bit. Also, consider being less right-wing, consider being more left-wing. It doesn't sound like I want to get into a political debate, but just please consider that. It might be nice. Sharing is generally nicer than being selfish. There's a good top tip. Sharing is better than being selfish. Doesn't matter what people are telling you around you. You listen to your own heart. You know what's good. You know, if you feel like that would make you upset or somebody else upset, don't do it. Be strong in yourself. Be confident in yourself because you're beautiful and have wonderful things to offer. Find your passion and find the things in life that you want to live for, and then live for them. And don't let people deter you from that. That's what I'd say. I don't need heat. You don't need heat. Why don't you need heat? What are you doing? You're chuffing cold. I suppose you could live somewhere hot, couldn't you? I suppose that's possible. Isn't it cold at night, though? I suppose it might not be, mightn't it? I don't know. I don't live in hot places. My knowledge of what it's like at night is not extensive. I'm not a global authority on what it's like at night. So we've covered that. What we're going to cover today. It does get chilly a bit, yeah. See, I bet it does everywhere. Nowhere's immune. It's when the wind picks up. Look, what we're doing. Let's not get too hectic, because people listen to this to go to their sleeps. I've lost me. Where's my window? Web browser. There we go. This is mindfulness. This will calm us down. Everyone in the world, listen up. This is mindfulness. Okay. Let's just listen, because what's really good about this, and this is where I wanted to frame it to start, is researchers study how it seems to change the brain in depressed patients. It says what? How it does what? It changes the brain. Now that's interesting, isn't it? And it's not just someone's, hyping up their little thing and selling their other little thing. It's people have been doing, this is the Harvard Gazette, they're posh. I don't know about American stuff that much, but I know that Harvard's posh. So they're doing the proper studies. They're on an fMRI machine, and they're doing the proper studies and looking into, look at that. That's the brain there, the pictures. So they're actually doing the big science. And I thought it was really interesting to start with this. Oh, look, thank you for your 100 hearts, 100 bits. Thank you for that. It threw me off. I read from the bottom up. Yeah, it does have medical benefits. So what's good about this is some of these we looked at different kinds of therapies in the last episode. We looked at talking cures and stuff like that. And people might say, oh yeah, but does it really work? And no. But, some things that are not tablets, not drugs given to you to change the way your brain works. Some other things, like mindfulness, can actually have an effect, like a measurable scientific effect. So that's really interesting. I thought that was a great way to start and look at this, to frame this. So let's listen to what they've got to say. Quietly. I told you it was posh, didn't I? I told you it was posh. Nothing against you if you posh, but look, they got a nice. Someone's done a nice look. They've done a good job on that. They've got the good lenses on. They've got the prime lenses on there. They've got the bokeh. They've got the good photography, lovely music. Little intro, didn't they? They had a little 9-10 second intro. Said that it had their logo on it. Pulling focus.
Mindfulness is really the practice of being aware of.
Could have had a tripod for that shot though.
What's going on.
Sorry. I'll start again, because not the whole thing again, but you need to. I was talking. You got me all cheered up now. I'm supposed to be just chilling, really quiet, Mental Health Monday, and I'm hyped up because I'm feeling like what it would be like if everyone in the world. Now I'm happy because I was fantasizing about what it would be like if everyone in the world was listening to me. And if everyone in the world was listening to me, they're all out there now doing nice things, being a bit nicer. That's what I was thinking. That's what was making me happy about that. That's nice. Oh, isn't it good? But in reality, they're not. They're not. They're out there being mean. And let's get back. Let's bring you down again. Let's bring you down a peg or two. You stop being happy. They're out there being mean. All right. Mindfulness.
Mindfulness is really the practice of being aware of what's going on in the moment. Some people add, without judging it, so just really observing. And then the practice of meditation is a more, kind of structured, disciplined practice, often with some kind of an anchor where you're resting attention, the breath, a word, something like that.
In some specific conditions, the evidence is a little bit strong.
Sorry, the music's a bit heavy for me. I should check these things before we do this. The music was a bit like it was getting me. I was in the vibe. I've got a bit of cake here. I haven't even started eating my cake yet. That usually cheers me up. I haven't even started on the cake. So, yeah. I forgot what she said. I think she said it was something about listening. I think it was something about being in the moment and judging things because I know a little bit about mindfulness. I can fill in. And also, I'm part Indian, I'll have you know, so I'm allowed to do as much Bollywood dancing as I want. It's not cultural appropriation at my end. It's absolutely acceptable. My dad was born in Delhi, so there we go. Yeah, so what we're saying, she's saying about mindfulness. Come on, start again, look. From It's that doom, 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 that gets you first. The doom, doom, and then it's got this high, I'll tell you something about music. Let's go big face. I'll tell you something about music. This is Mental Health Monday. It's Scotty Hottie, just yabbling on. The music, I've said this to someone else before, I don't know if it's normal, but I kind of feel like I see it in a third dimension sort of way, or like feel it in a third dimension sort of way. Like when some people say they can see colours and stuff like that, it's like, maybe everyone gets this, maybe everyone feels this, surely everyone feels this, but like that, boom, 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 like that's down here, boom, 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 and it's round and it's bouncy, boom, 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 and like that. When you're in a club and the bass is big, like that's like you're in the sea, right? That bass is boom, 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 and it comes up to about here. Usually, comes up to about here. Right, boom, 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 and it can have different shapes and different feels, but it's the sea about here, dark green, blue, boom, 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 boom. That's the bass, right? And then as you move up, and what music does that's incredible, and I love this for music, like you move across, like as time goes, either the music moves across you, usually when I'm at a club listening to it, like loud, or sometimes you can feel like you're moving across the music, like you're flying over it, but it's like this soundscape landscape. So you've got the that's the sea level, that is. But in music, you've got all these heights as well. You've got like all the high frequency tappy, your snares, your hi hats, things that fly along over the top, and your melodies and things lift up into that space, like your higher pitched wind instruments fly up into that space, and in the midpoint between that, you've sort of got this landscape that's formed by maybe more complex, like, you know, guitar chords have got bass and higher things in them. They form this like landscape to me. Does that make sense? Does that make sense to you? And then so this piece of music's doing that nicely for me. It's got this boom, 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 boom down here, and it's also got this like this high heights that it's carrying me away to. So I like that piece of music. I think that's a really nice piece of music. So we can go back now and listen to it and try and listen to what she's effing well saying, eh?
Mindfulness is really the practice of being aware of what's going on in the moment. Some people add, without judging it, so just really observing. And then
So it's what's going on in the moment without judging it, just observing. And I think that's critical because I'm shouting, aren't I? Try and calm. Shh. I think that's critical because a lot of the time what's going on informs your feelings and your thoughts, and they get in the way of your observation of what's going on. Yeah, definitely that happens. So mindfulness is about being able to step back from what you think about a thing, from what your instinctive reaction to a thing is, from what your thought cycle replaying fear, anxiety, whatever that thing is happening, the things you say to yourself. It's stepping back from that and just analysing what's really happening and just not judging it for anything, just saying this is what it is. Yeah.
And the practice of meditation is a more, kind of structured, disciplined practice, often with some kind of an anchor where you're resting attention, the breath, a word, something like that.
I'm not very disciplined meditator myself, so I'll take her word for that. The music's just totally. Oh, it's of course it's appropriate because they're meditating, aren't they? And that's a like, is it from India? Meditation, yogis, yoga must be. It must be, or is that Yogi Bear's not from India? Is he? And Yogi Bear, so who knows? No one can tell. It's far too late to tell now. It's far too late to tell. But the music might be appropriate.
In some specific conditions, the evidence is a little bit stronger on the effects of mindfulness meditation. And those are depression, anxiety, and chronic pain.
And chronic pain. Depression, anxiety, and chronic pain. And that's really interesting because pain is seen as separate, isn't it? Seen as physical. It's not in the same category as anxiety and depression, but it may be that it has a mental component. Certainly can be treated with mindfulness. Yoga is a group of physical, mental, and spiritual practices or disciplines which originated in ancient India. There you go. Now, if only you know about Yogi Bear. If only you knew about Yogi Bear, then Yogi Bear's not anything to do with yoga, is he? He's just nothing to do with it. Nothing to do with it. But yoga did originate in India. See, there you go. Nigel's got you covered. Interesting. Yeah. So the music is appropriate. They can have that.
The idea behind mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is that by training people in mindfulness meditation, we increase.
Sorry, I had to pause it again there because look, they got this is only a little. It's only a little thing for. Harvard. Harvard, they're good, aren't they? Harvard, they're posh, but it's only a little thing about mindfulness for their website on the Harvard Gazette. But they've really done a proper job on it, and I suppose that's because this is actual high-grade research, and this is going to be a video that gets embedded on news websites and other things. But I'm really impressed that they've got more than. They started this with the setting shot, the scene setting shot here, which is her glasses. It's actually someone's decided to use that. It's a bit of a filler shot, a cutaway shot, but they've still they've shot it and they've artistically decided to go in with it there. I actually think that's got some artistry to it. It's like an object that speaks of a person's personality in a way, and you're just introduced to them. She's not wearing the glasses even. She's not even wearing them, but you're just they're there. It's like this little precursor to meeting her. This little soft drop. And they've got two cameras. They're quite happily showing you they've got the two cameras set up. Look, the wide, which I wouldn't have chosen to go that. Well, I'd have probably, I don't know, maybe I would have done it. Maybe there's issues in space in the room. But it's a wide where they've got a bit of space on this side here. That's the left-hand side. It's a bit useless. But they've got the two shots. They cut between them without a cutaway. So they've got the cutaway there. So I believe they've made those choices. I think they're good choices. I actually quite like those choices. they can't have used such, they've used such high quality kit and made such a good job of getting these good shots. I don't think they would just be shuffling it together in the edit. Yeah, really interesting. Sorry, it's got nothing to do with mental health.
The idea behind mindfulness-based cognitive therapy is that by training people in mindfulness meditation, we increase their capacity for interoception and for being able to listen to their body, so to speak.
Intrareception, and to be able to listen to your body. So mindfulness, when you're trained in it, can help your I've forgotten how to say that word already. It can help you listen to your body.
And to drop in the body. And that will actually help them disengage from this cognitive rumination with negative thoughts about the self.
And that helps you to disengage from the cognitive rumination that has negative thoughts from about the self. So it helps you to step back, break away from the thought cycle that's going on, that's damaging you, that's causing you to that's not helpful, that's hurting you, that's making you feel depressed. So mindfulness can help you to break away from the thought cycle that's making the problems or generating the problems. Yeah, I don't know. You know what I'm saying. You know what I'm saying. Certainly you know more what I'm saying than they said, because it's complicated words. That's what your posh degree buys you.
We're testing this hypothesis in the brain by looking at the brain networks that are involved and having people do specific tasks in the scanner to test if they engage in these tasks differently after having received the mindfulness training.
Okay, I'm just going to have to break that down a little bit. Obviously, I do think these posh degrees are good. I do think that education is, thumbs up on the education. Maybe it'd be better if it was a bit more accessible to all and a bit less elitist. But what they're doing seems to be really good here, isn't it? Look, they're doing the MRI scan. They're checking what it's like for somebody.
Networks that are involved and having people do specific tasks in the scanner to test if they engage in these tasks differently after having received the mindfulness training.
Okay, so they're doing tasks while they're in the scanner, and they're checking to see if after they've done mindfulness, how they engage with the task. Is that different to the people who didn't do the mindfulness? So they're having their brain scanned, they're doing tasks. I don't know what the tasks are, but it's how they engage with them that we're interested in. And the way they engage with them is different if they've been doing the mindfulness.
The purpose of this research is to find out the mechanisms of mindfulness training in the brain, and from that information, hopefully make some changes to the intervention that take.
So what they're trying to find out is how mindfulness works in the brain, and then once they've found that out, they can take some sort of action.
Those mechanisms into account. For example, doing more of certain types of practices if we think these are the ones that are key, and perhaps doing less of other aspects of the mindfulness training if science finds that these elements don't actually have so much of an impact.
That's really interesting, isn't it? They're going to study the different kinds of mindfulness training with a brain scanner to see which has the most impact, literally, in the brain, and then they're going to tailor mindfulness training and techniques to enhance those areas. It's a bit like a sport coach, isn't it? It's a bit like a sports coach or something, looking at the readouts from the computers while you're on the running machine. Keep running. Like, that it's a bit like that, isn't it? They're in the brain, checking it with the computer, having a little look on the old scan, making sure they can see what's going on, making sure they hone these things to be as effective as possible. That's really good. That's really good.
I think you kind of have this daily practice so that as you go about your day, you're able to be mindful and present, or notice when you're not, because nobody does it 100%.
Filmed and edited by Kai J. Wang. So you made sure you whacked that on there. If you ever need anyone doing any filming and editing, you might want to give Kai J. Wang a call. Obviously, he's going to be busy because he's got lots of work, people like Harvard. But why don't you call me? I do just the same quality work, but, I could easily do the same quality as that, yeah. Yeah, but I'm not busy. Anywho, look, I thought Kai J. Wang's video was very good. I thought that was very good. It was really clear. It was really interesting. And this article in the Harvard Gazette talks more, in more words, about how 16 million Americans reported experiencing major depression. People don't respond to frontline interventions. Individual cognitive behavioural therapy is helpful for many people. Antidepressant medications help people, but many people don't benefit from them, and there's a great need for alternative approaches. You know, it's talking about these sort of things. It's worth a bit of a read. We've covered the main bullet points in that video. I did want to dig in slightly more to this. In her current work, she's exploring meditation's effects on the brains of clinically depressed patients, a group for whom studies have shown meditation to be effective. Working with patients selected and screened by Shapiro, Desbordes is performing functional magnetic resonance imaging scans, fMRI scans, before and after an 8-week course in mindfulness-based cognitive therapy, MCBT. During the scans, participants complete 2 tests. One that encourages them to become more aware of their bodies by focusing on their heartbeat, an exercise related to mindfulness meditation, and the other asking them to reflect on phrases common in the self-chatter of depressed patients, such as "I am a loser" or "I can't go on." After a series of such comments, the participants are asked to stop ruminating on the phrases and the thoughts they trigger. Researchers will measure how quickly subjects can disengage from negative thoughts, typically a difficult task for the depressed. Wow. Wow. Isn't that amazing? So they're in the scanner, in there. If you could just keep your head still, please. And then they've asked them to do the mindfulness thing first. Focus on your heartbeat. They've all had a go at that. And then they've been told these self-chatter phrases. I'm a loser. Can't go on. I should say this at this point is a good way to get to this. Should absolutely say this. Samaritan. No, yeah, come on. If you do feel like you can't go on, if you're having those thoughts, then a good place to start would be Samaritans. You can call them up. You can talk to them. You can talk to us here in Mental Health Monday. We're here. We're on chat. We're happy to talk to you. You might not feel that you can do it live on the internet. It's fine. You can have a little practice by calling up a stranger and having a chat to them about anything. That's the number there, the Samaritans. And we also like to talk about Mind, which is a website we're going to come on to in a second to talk about mindfulness. They give you some great advice on that website about mental health, and it's a great start point if you're feeling low. It's a great start point to just look into things. That could be the start of your journey to feeling better. So if you feel like you can't go on, we all feel like that sometimes. That's normal. That's natural. There's nothing, I'm not going to say there's nothing wrong with you, because we want to try and remedy that, don't we? We want to try and make that better. But it's not wrong to feel like that. That's okay. That's fine. That's normal. And together we can help to remedy that. And that's what we're doing here. So these people who were thinking, I'm such a loser and I can't go on, then they told them, stop thinking about it. Stop thinking about that. Think about something different. And they're in there, in that thing. They've got their brains being scanned, so they know what they're thinking. They can see the activity. Is it changing? Is it staying the same? Lo and behold, they can measure it. They can measure it. The process will be repeated for a control group. The board said it should occur via different mechanisms in the brain. The research has been underway since 2014 and is expected to last into 2019, so it's already finished, isn't it? Surely. Maybe she's still putting together her paper. Maybe I'm a bit late to the party. So yeah, science meets mindfulness. So that's good, isn't it? It's both ends of the spectrum. Some people like to do something that's more spiritual. That's a bit more spiritual, don't they? To help them feel better with depression. Some people like to take tablets. Some people really don't like that. So you've got these other alternatives. You've got mindfulness practice, they could remodel the brains. In theory, they could be making epigenetic changes to change the brains of the progeny as well. Exciting research. Get me now. I'm not even going to look at. I'll keep my hands on my head. I'm not going to Google epigenetics because I think I know what it means. I think I'm not that silly. I'm not that dumb. I reckon that epigenetic, even if I can't say it properly, what it is if you do something like a good habit enough, it actually changes your physiology in a way, and you actually pass that physiology on to your progeny, your kids. Oh, you little doggy. You pass that sort of. It's like on your DNA, you like draw in felt pen, and the more you do it, it makes it real. It makes it a real change, and then that becomes, once it's real enough, it changes your phenotype. I didn't remember the word phenotype. I don't really know what that one means. But I got there. Didn't even Google it. Hand on my head. I didn't have to ask Alexa. I'm not going to say her name because then your house will go off, won't it? Oh, I'm so tempted. I love it when I go to people's houses and I like shout, Alexa, order me some shopping. Oh, if I was talking to everyone on the internet, if that happened, and I was talking to everyone, that would have been a great opportunity, wouldn't it? I could have shouted, Alexa, order me some soya milk. Yeah, it changes. So there we go. It does. We've found some high quality science. And what's really nice, I was saying, what's really cool about this is that some people don't like the drug. I know in America you've got this issue with big pharma, and it is a problem that the people who make drugs sell them in a commercial sense, in a commercial profit motive way. That is a problem. I get that. But also some drugs that are designed to help mental health problems really do work. So I get that as well. There's a balance there somewhere. But some people don't like any of that. But we found something that is kind of, holding hands with both things, isn't it? You can be more spiritual, but it's scientific. It's proven. It works. So it's not just like they're all going to go, oh, you're being silly, or it doesn't work. No, it really does work. But you don't have to do like medical, do you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't have to be lab coats and pills and things. It's something different, isn't it? It's something a bit more spiritual, which is kind of nice. I think there's so many good things to say about that. And I've said them. So let's have a bit more of a look. Let's see if I can change my phenotype. I've probably changed it for the worse, haven't I? Probably changed mine for the worse. It's too late now. It's not too late. It's not. I'm on Mental Health Monday. What am I saying? Of course it's not too late. It's never too late to make good changes in your life. It's never too late to start new good habits. It's never too late. The future's what we're thinking about. The future's what we're moving into. That's yours there, the future. That's your opportunities. So it's never too late to create beautiful futures. I'm a lost cause, but you're all right. You've got chance. You've got hope. You can have hope. We're throwing down ropes. They might, at the moment, they might feel like they're batting you on the head sometimes when people throw down their ropes. It might feel like it's batting. Sometimes if someone jumps down to help you, it might be like, whoa, what are they doing jumping on me? Sometimes it might feel like an attack. It's not an attack. People are reaching out to you. They're trying to help you. We're here. Once you've oh, hang on. Is this going to be okay? It might turn out okay. It probably will turn out okay. Scotty Hottie promise. Scott's top tips. So what is mindfulness? Mindfulness is a technique you can learn. I wanted to make a point here. We've seen this yoga thing. We've, they're doing the meditation. Mindfulness seems like it might be too spiritual in a way for some people. It might be that it's a where's my big face? Can't find it. Don't mess with the pictures. It might be that it's some people don't want to do yoga and meditation, and some people are not into that so much. They see it as a bit woo, a bit hippie. Not quite for them. Fine. That is fine. We are finding it scientifically beneficial, but that is fine. There are other forms of mindfulness that are not so deeply rooted in this Buddhist tradition. I'm reading that off the thing there, Buddhism. They're not so deeply rooted in that. There are forms of mindfulness like mindful eating, which we'll look at hopefully in a minute if I can bloody well get around to it. But there are other forms, so bear with it. Have a check in here. There might be some stuff that you can take from this that's not anything to do with meditation in the traditional sense that you kind of maybe have tried and don't get on with. If that's the case, fine. We're gonna have a look. I wonder if small micro moments of mindfulness can be helpful throughout the day. A moment with a flower or a pet. Yes, I absolutely think that's good. Have you been reading? If it's okay if you come out with these things because you're smart, I dig that. That's absolutely fine. If you've been reading it though, ooh, you know what we think about that? No one's allowed to read this until I've read it. I do the reading. But of course you can read it. It's fine. But I do the reading. Mindfulness is a technique you can learn which involves making a special effort to notice what's happening in the present moment, in your mind, body and surroundings, without judging anything. It has roots in Buddhism and meditation, but you don't have to be spiritual or have any particular beliefs to try it. It aims to help you become more self-aware. Bullet point. That's not calming, is it? Bullet point. Don't do that. I want to read it, but you won't scroll. Yeah, I learned that lesson. I learned that lesson. No. You keep it steady. Keep them guessing. It helps you to become calmer and less stressed. And do I feel less stressed? Look, Scotty Hottie here. I've been practicing my mindfulness. I've been trying a little bit. Trying to have my little moments. Go out walking the dog, don't I? Spend some time thinking about things and then not thinking about them. Feel a little bit less stressed, maybe that. It helps you to feel that you can respond to your thoughts and feelings, that you can choose how to respond. That's a good one, isn't it? You can choose how to respond to your thoughts and feelings. Often, it's quite an interesting concept to choose how, isn't it? Often things happen, I feel like this. You don't choose that, do you? You don't choose that. Maybe you can. Maybe you don't have to feel like this. Maybe if you take a step back and think about things in the bigger picture, like when everyone in the world was watching us earlier, suddenly the things that I thought like this about weren't so important in the big picture. Sometimes context and space and time can change that. So maybe I don't have to respond in the way that my instinctive switch, trigger, warning response, Choose compassion, unless they cut you off in traffic. Do you know what? Even that, I've got much, much better at being nice about driving. When I was younger, I was a bit more cross when people did silly things in the driving space. But as I've got older, I realise how inept I am and how likely it could be that it would be me. So, someone the other day, someone indicated. So they indicated to turn up the road. So I started to pull out, and then they turned off the indicator and accelerated and beeped the horn. They were like, "No, I'm coming." I was like, "Whoa, mate. Pretty sure you indicated." But, I was able to let that go. I thought to myself, I'm going to get myself a dash cam. Get you next time. But, yeah. We can choose how we respond, though, can't we? We can choose that. I can say, I'm going to, or maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I don't have to. It can help you to cope with difficult or unhelpful thoughts. That's good as well, isn't it? Coping with difficult or unhelpful thoughts, because you're going to get them. There's going to be things that you face in life that are difficult to think about. But being able to cope with them, take them in pieces, think about them at your pace. Unhelpful thoughts. Not sure if you'd have to deal with unhelpful thoughts. Maybe you do. Maybe you have to think about things that maybe we all do at times, But this can help you deal with it. Scientific. And you can help you be kinder towards yourself. That'd be nice, wouldn't it? Beating yourself up is part of depression. Depression is rage turned inwards. People get cross, and you should be cross. There's things in the world to be cross about, of course. But we also need to learn how to let that built up pressure of crossness dissipate. Because there's things in the world to be cross about. There's things in the world to be happy about. And in order to make more of the cross things into happy things, we need to let it dissipate, let it pass. The waves, everything in life is waves, so we can move on and do better things than being all cross. Many people, it's anxiety as well though, isn't it? It's all these things. Many people find practicing mindfulness helps them manage their day-to-day well-being, but it doesn't always work for everyone, so fine. Is mindfulness right for me? Look, they've got a little quiz there. You can maybe look at that in your own time. Because right now we're going to find out that mindfulness is a skill and it requires work like any therapy and practice like any skill. It's not a shortcut. Courses are only set the scene. I find it enjoyable and rewarding. Most of all, I find it brings some peace into my life. That was a quote by I don't know who. There we go. I scrolled it down now. You've got a whole new page to have a look at. You can probably pause me as well. I'm on the internet. You can pause me. How does mindfulness work? Don't pause me. Not going to be able to edit that, am I? The way we think and what we think about can affect how we feel and act. We've learned that on Mental Health Monday. We're down with that. We agree with that. For example, if you worry a lot about upsetting past or future events, you might often feel sad or anxious. We agree with that, yeah. The theory behind mindfulness is that by using various techniques to bring your attention to the present, usually focusing on your body and your breathing, we've got some more bullet points coming up, here we go. You can notice how thoughts come and go in your mind. So by focusing on things, and this is where my bit of cake can come in, I can have a little nibble on my cake, because the mindfulness technique that I do actually like, I do actually really enjoy, there's more to mindful eating than just eating. We're going to find that out maybe later. But one of the things I really enjoy is eating a bit of cake and actually taking the time to notice how it tastes, not just shuffling it in and yoffing it down. Look. Only had a little bite. It's not my birthday, not yet. It's coming up this month. We'll never know exactly when my birthday is because I don't really want to broadcast it on the internet because then you'll be able to get into my bank account. Be able to put some money in, hopefully, because there's bugger all else in there. Don't talk with your mouth full. It's got a bit of a burnt taste to it because I did leave. This is a corner piece. I'd left. This is the last bit. Did leave it in a little bit long on the corners, but underneath that there's this other taste. And what it is I put a spoonful or a big spoon, like a big old spoon, of pomegranate molasses. Molasses from a fruit, pomegranate fruit. So it's not my birthday today. I'll do another cake for my birthday. Honestly, it's not today. The dog's birthday is May the 10th. So we'll say my birthday is May the 10th and we'll do them both at the same time. Yeah, I'm supposed to be in the moment tasting my cake. It's got this pomegranate, I can't even say it. It's got molasses in it, pomegranate molasses. It's like a fruit thing. It's a vegan idea I had. Bought it. So well, that looked interesting in the shop ages ago. Didn't really. Mom got it. She brought it here, put it in the cupboard. I pretended I bought it. Tell them the truth. Anywho, it's there in the cupboard and I used it when I made the cake. And I tell you what, it's got a bit of a kick to it. It's got a bit of a toffee, like sour toffee sort of kick to it. That pomegranate molasses. So yeah, I'm really taking the time to really taste that cake. To really be present in the moment, to really focus on my body, not my breathing so much then, but the sensations, the realities. It's not about letting my mind run away with questions and answers and things like that. It's just being in the moment of what's real here. That taste, that pomegranate molasses. Interesting. I like doing that. And through doing that, you can then notice how thoughts come and go in your mind. And it seems strange to suggest that the cake might help you to think. But now, my next thought that pops into my mind that's not pomegranate molasses, I can have a little moment of thought. Oh, that's a thought there, isn't it now? I could have a cooking channel. Imagine that was my thought. I could start cooking the cakes, have a channel. Then I'm thinking. And then I could say, oh, hang on, look, wait. I'm thinking. That's my thoughts. Is that a good thought? Do I like that thought? I can let go of that thought if I want. I can go back to eating cake. It triggers you. It steps you out of the thinking, acting, doing, acting, doing, thinking, reacting. Cake. Now thinking. It gives you this break. It's good. I need a cooking channel. Oh, God, here we go. Scotty Hottie's top tips. I will bring my face big for responding to that. I'm a good cook. I'm a qualified cook. Got an NVQ or something like that. Got my health and safety. I can work in the kitchens. I've got my whites. Haven't got a hat. Got my trousers. Used to work in the kitchens. Was chef de mise en place at Hamilton's on the waterside. I was in charge of doing all the little dishes, all the little. If you wanted a little haddock risotto, I'd knock that up for you. If you wanted a little salad, I'd knock that up for you. If you wanted the main thing, the steak and the potatoes, someone else was doing that. I was doing my little dishes. Sometimes I had to go over to the grill just for grilling my haddock. But apart from that, I was on my little mise en place. Quite happy doing that. Liked it. It was good. Got there through being a pot washer and then being a cutter chopper in a different place. And then saying to this person, oh, I can do that job. Go on, give me a go. And then the restaurant closed down. I lost the job. It wasn't my fault, though. It wasn't my fault it closed down. I had another restaurant job after that. Did a couple. Worked in a few kitchens. And I can cook really nice in the kitchen now. Happy doing that. Don't really like working in commercial kitchens anymore because being vegan, it's probably not going to be a good fit. I suppose I could do my own vegan restaurant, but it's still not going to be a good fit because of all the late hours and the screaming. Yeah, and if you're working in the restaurant industry and you're watching this, or you know someone that is, that's a place where mental health is a serious bubbling issue. People work really hard, they push themselves really hard, they strive for high standards and perfection, hopefully, if you're going to be eating your dinner there. And at the end of it, it's really late at night and you're tired, and maybe you have a drink with your mates every night. Maybe it's different leaving the restaurant at 2 a.m. to leaving the club at 2 a.m. Maybe you're living a different life than the average person is because you're at work later, different times. So there's a mental health issue in restaurant work, and yeah, they take a lot of abuse. That's a really good point as well. Send that back. bring me the head of the chef. The head chef? No, the head of the chef. You did exactly that. There's a lot of high pressure tension. There's a lot of shouting, and the people who work within the thing shout at each other as well, don't they? Gordon Ramsay effect. He was popular on the telly, therefore I should shout in the kitchen. I saw that happen. Restaurants started out being nice when I worked there. Then Gordon Ramsay got big on the telly. Then lots of younger men who thought they were big on the telly or wanted to shake their billy bollocks around, they were shouting a lot more. And I was like, oh my days, you're all like Gordon Ramsay then, eh? So there's a lot of reasons why that's a difficult place, why there's mental health issues there. But yeah, I did used to work in that area before hairdressing, that was, and I do know a thing or two about the difference between a spatula and a mandolin. And I do make some nice food. But I don't know if I should do a cooking show. I'm not fully expert. There's too many strings to the bow. Let's leave that on the back burner. Literally, I'll leave it on the back burner until it's burned, and then that's another thing I do. Whilst I'm reasonably good at cooking, I'm also good at fuffing things up, aren't I? So, I'll put the pizza in and go upstairs and come back down and it be the wrong colour, and I'll start doing something and then go and do something else and come back to that and forget that I left it on, stuff like that. That'll happen. So my cooking show would end up with lots of disasters. Never more harassed than a bartender. Oh God, yeah, I've done that as well. Did that at uni. The worst one was a rugby club game, Gloucester versus Bristol. Everybody wanted to drink all of the cider. All they wanted was loads of cider. It wasn't a complex bar in terms of different kinds of drinks. I've done that as well. I've done the cocktails. Oh God, I'll tell you about the cider, then I'll tell you about the cocktails, and you'll agree with me on this, I'm sure. The cider, it was like, I want 20 pints of cider, and we've only got one tap. Yeah, we've only got one tap. So what do you want me to do? Can you not have maybe a pint of this and a pint of that, make my life easier? No, I want 20 pints. We've only got one tap. They're going to take a while. Next, I'd like 20 pints of cider. Would you? Because the last bloke wanted that and we only got one tap. Man, that was hard. Just fighting people for this tap to pour these ciders and get them out there. And the other side of that is when you've got a complex drinks order, when you've got lots of people wanting complex drinks, and it's not easy to be doing what seems like a simple job, and they're at you, aren't they? They're like, no, I want a fucking this. Don't you know how to make a that? It's supposed to have that in it. I want 3 of them and 2 of that, and get me one of those. And you're like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Like, let me just think about what's in one of them, and how do I... And they're 3 deep, and they want more, and they want more, and they want more. Oh, can't you just have a nice vodka and orange? No, maybe just have an orange these days. I don't have the vodka. So, no, I want the fucking thing with a chocolate in it and a banana and a... Where's the cherries? I don't know how to make that. They want your attention. Oh, can you get here? I'm actually, the reason I'm not looking at you is because if I look at you, then you will think I'm taking your order. If that happens with all these people, it's not going to work. We've got a system. I work my way down the bar one by one, and then when I get to the bottom, I go back to the top. That's how I do it. There's no point in shouting at me, is there? There's no point. It's not going to do anything. In fact, the fact that you're shouting makes me want to look at you less. Makes me want to look at you less. Now I've dropped the jug, I've smashed the thing, everyone's cross. That actually happened to me. I dropped the jug and smashed the thing, everyone was cross. Oh, cocktails, yeah. Not Tom Cruise, it's not all Tom Cruise, I'll tell you that. It's not all Tom Cruise. And at the end of that, everyone goes home and you've got to sweep up the glass and everything's sticky and it smells of horrible and you get a free drink. I don't even want it, thanks. I don't even want it now. I just want to go home at 6 a.m, mate. Leave me alone. Yeah, at the end of all that. Difficult jobs. Let's go back to mental health. Quick. Don't tell anyone about what we're just talking about. There's some drunk dudes waiting for me. Oh, okay. Got such a funny story about that one as well. But well, I've lost my window changing arrangement, window button, big face. So that edit that. There's sometimes these sort of things happen. I'm not a big fighter. I don't want to get in a fight. I don't want to finish things with a fight. I don't want to cause a fight if there isn't cause to have one. If there's something seriously wrong, I will probably fly in there. Like, I don't... Not flying there kicking everyone and hurting everyone. Flying there trying to protect and, calm down, more likely. That's my instinct. So, but I'm not in there to try and punch people and get in a fight, all right? But I remember this once at this bar I was working at, exactly this sort of situation. It was like, kicking out time. It was 3 a.m. Only the real hardcore drinkers and the locals were there. And it exited out onto this marketplace. So people didn't just go home. They sort of hung around, yelling, shouting, doing whatever on this marketplace. And a couple of the people, I think one of them was... I was quite drunk as well, so it's hard to remember exactly what happened. But there were some people in the bar that I had to try and tell to leave. Like, we did tell to leave. The girl that worked there as well, she told them to leave. They did leave, but they were causing all sorts of trouble. And then we locked the doors and we were outside. And, that's exactly what you're saying. There's some drunk dudes waiting in the lot. Now we're outside and, maybe that wasn't fighting they were looking for. Yeah, whatever. I wasn't, about to have a fight with them or anything. But it sort of seemed to be escalating. And this other dude, bless him, right? Not advocating violence at all. But, this was I don't know if it was the right thing to do. It probably wasn't what I would have done. But this other dude, he was a regular, a local, quite a quiet lad, just like strode across, swung this massive haymaker and laid the dude out. And his friends, that was it. His friends picked him up and they just took him home. They didn't want any more of this. They weren't like, all right, they were all fighting. They were like, bloody hell. Like, where did that come from? And that just ended it. So that was my story about that. It happened. I didn't advocate for it, and I'm not suggesting anyone out there should go and punch anyone. As I said, I think it's better to try and dissipate and be nice to people. Maybe offer them a bit of chocolate, send them on their way. But that did also dissipate the situation very quickly. Yeah, kapow! It was exactly like that, and it came out of nowhere, and everyone was surprised as well. All the drunk people shut up. Me. The people that worked there, we all shut up. Everyone was surprised. The kid walked off as well. He was just like, walked off. They picked him up. Good night. Time to go home now. Hello, Omar. Why are you meowing? We'll go back to web browsing. Otherwise, I'm supposed to do this about an hour's worth, and we always run over. So we probably won't look at mindful eating at the end, probably, but let's do this. You notice what your body's telling you. We just edit this in, cha-ching, it'll work. Notice what your body is telling you. For example, tension or anxiety can often be felt in your body, such as a fast heartbeat, tense muscles, or shallow breathing. That's the exact anxiety attack thing, isn't it? That's that thing that makes you feel like you're having the heart attack. That's what sent me to the hospital the other week. Tense muscles. Oh, yeah. If you're feeling that, it's quite easy for that to override your thoughts, isn't it? For that to play into the, oh, I'm thinking that I'm having a heart attack. Oh, I'm getting anxious because I'm feeling this. That can be a cycle. So the mindfulness allows us to break into that. That's helpful. It creates a space between you and your thoughts. Now that's heavy. It creates a space between me and my thoughts. Not a literal one, so you can react more calmly. But it gives you some time. Space-time, doesn't it? It gives you some time. A little bit of space-time between you and your thoughts. Now we said... Oh, I agree. There's 10 points. I'm going to have to find a way. You know how they've got those things, text-to-speech on the streams? I want to reverse that and give you 10 points. When you do, that's a 10-point tweet, isn't it? That's a 10-pointer. 10 points. Were you saying hospital? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. And I listened to you, and it was a good idea. And the doctor did check me over, and she said, "Get out of my sight. Stop darkening my hospital." Give this to him 10 points. You see, exactly. That's his 10. I don't know how to share these things on. But we'll find, I want a button I can press that comes up with a thing. 10 points, I want it to be displayed on screen in a button. I guarantee you there's a box with buttons on it that does those sort of things for streamers. I bet you there is. I haven't looked into it yet, but I'll bet there is. They used to have them for the editing room, like buttons on a screen and you're doing your editing. This is like editing but live, so I bet there's a box with buttons. We'll get one day. I owe him $1. That's 100 points is $1. Oh, okay. I don't have any dollars. I've only got English pounds and pence. 10 points is what I offer. 10 points. And I thank you for your $1. Get the Johnny Depp hat. The Johnny Depp hat, we can turn it this way up and you can put your dollars in it. That's what that's like, isn't it? It's just nice. It's nice. It creates space between you and your thoughts. Obviously, there's a bit of a big space between me and mine. Massive space. Oh, I absolutely want to. Is that Ruby? It looks like my dog Ruby, that dog. How do I create a space between me and my thoughts so I can react more calmly? So what it's doing is it's that step, isn't it? It's that thoughts come, but I don't have to instantly, it doesn't have to make me, thoughts come, I can think about them, I've got my space between me and them, and I can do what to do, I can do what, I think that's how that reads, I think that's what it means. It's an interesting concept. The Oxford Mindfulness Centre has more information about it, so I opened up their webpage earlier, but because this is the second time I've opened the computer, there it is now. They've got free sessions and podcasts. Put my teeth in. They've got free sessions and podcasts, so it might be worth looking at them. Not now. It's supposed to be here with us. This is Oxford. They're like our Harvard. It's a bit different, but it is still posh. Trust me. And this is Mindful, Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. It's just like a website, something a bit different. But I thought it was interesting. They've got the yoga thing. They've also got some facts about mindfulness. They're a bit different. We'll look at them in a second. Can mindfulness treat mental health problems? Absolutely yes. Can't it? We looked at that at the start. It actually does it. Studies show that it helps to manage depression, anxiety problems, and stress. So there's some things that it really can help for. Obviously, it might not help for everything and everyone, The complex ones like psychosis and bipolar, they're researching this. So it might not be, might not be heavy intervention, but it says here that mindfulness does help me with my mental health issues. It helps me with mine. It's not the cure, and it won't work every single time, but it's helped me to alleviate anxiety and depression by centering my thoughts. Good. I like that. And they've got some tips as well. So before we look at that, we'll look at this. 8 facts. It's getting hot in my room. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you about that mindfulness. It's getting hot in my room. Still working on that skill. Such a struggle. Yeah. Nothing in life is ever easy. Nothing good is ever easy, is it? But we're doing good. I mean, we're doing good, aren't we? Yeah. Yeah, we're doing good. We're doing good. Mindfulness is not obscure or exotic. It's familiar to us because it's what we already do, how we already are. It takes many shapes and goes by many names. You seek him here, you seek him there. It takes many shapes and goes by many names. That's a bit of a funny sentence to write in there. Mindfulness is not a special thing. It's not a special added thing we do. We already have the capacity to be present. It doesn't require us to change who we are. We can cultivate these innate qualities with practices. Got it. You don't need to change. That's a nice one. You don't need to change. You can still be you. Solutions ask us to change who we are or become something we're not have failed us over and over again. Mindfulness recognizes and cultivates the best of who we are. That's good. It has the potential to become a transformative social phenomenon. Anyone can do it. It's a way of living. It's more than just practice. It brings awareness and caring into everything we do. Oh, that's good as well. Yeah, into everything we do. Hopefully. It's evidence-based and it sparks innovation. As we deal with our world's increasingly complex uncertainty, mindfulness can lead us to effective, resilient, low-cost responses to seemingly intransigent problems. Things we can't change, intransigent. Seemingly intransigent problems. That's a big one at the end there, isn't it? That's a big one. That's why you're a writer. But maybe it does. Maybe, being mindful can lead you to solutions to problems that you didn't know existed. Maybe so. Maybe so. They've got how to do meditation there, so if you want to have a look at that, that's there. Mindful. Just thought I'd bring up something different, just thought I'd show you a different resource. I'm not promoting them or anything like that, Just there's a different resource. Here are different resources. Look, woo. The exercises and tips. Mindful eating. Boom, straight there on top. Boom. Talked about that. I can have another bite of cake. Yum, yum, yum. So you know what that is now. Mindful moving or walking or running. Notice the feeling of your body moving. You might notice the breeze against your skin, the feeling of your feet or hands against different textures of the ground or nearby surfaces. That's a good one, isn't it? You mentioned textures earlier, didn't you? That's a good one. Body scan. I think we've done this before, haven't we? We've looked at this page before. In Mental Health Monday. We've briefly looked at mindfulness. Body scan. I told you about the colouring that I like to do. I like to pick colours out of my environment and log them in my brain. Yeah. So there we go. I think that's a nice point to leave you on. I'll stay here and talk for another 10 minutes or so. I'm not going to just disappear. But there's some resources. Look, there's Mindful, Healthy Mind, Healthy Life. Articles, things there about mindfulness. Oxford Mindfulness, that was free podcasts and sessions. The Samaritan's always good to fly that up on screen again. That's the Harvard Gazette that was talking about the science. And this is Mind for Better Mental Health. A lovely resource that's on the internet. I'll tell you something about mind actually before I go. It's quite important, but it's a little bit political. Not like me, huh? Mind is a mental health charity, but overarching it is Mind head office, central HQ. They put on this website, their Mind, they're the big HQ. You can donate to them direct through this, fine, whatever. But be careful. You don't need to donate to them. They've got loads. Maybe you do. I don't know, actually. Some of them have got really, like, you know how some of these charities have got high resources because they're supported by influential people and stuff like that, and then they give a lot of the resources to their directors. Sometimes that happens. I don't know enough about mine to talk on those levels about this, so I'm not going to promote or whatever. I just wanted to give a bit of a overview of how they work, because I think it's important, because I've been saying about them for a while. That's the big charity, but there's also this subset, this like splinter cell that will be in your area. We've got one in Stratford, but they couldn't be called Shakespeare Mind, or they couldn't be called Stratford Mind, so they called it Springfield Mind, which is a bit weird. But they did, and that's the one in Stratford. You'll have one in the next village, you'll have one in Warwick, you'll have one in Birmingham, you'll have loads in Birmingham, you'll have one in Redditch, you'll have one in, they're like these little regional centres, and I don't know exactly how they work, whether they're franchises, whether they're splinter cells, whether they're completely self-sufficient, but they're not all, if I go to Mind in my local area, I'm not dealing with this people on this website, I'm dealing with the people in that smaller office, so they're not all the same thing. And what I found beautiful and wonderful about this website, what helped me to get into mental health support, to show me the portals to the right choices, that's great on that website. There was information I found on that website that I found there really easily. It helped change my way of thinking. It helped me to get into positive frames of mind. It was brilliant. It was important. So that's really good. The actual sub-office in my local town is less, in my opinion, has been less helpful to me, less easy to engage with in certain aspects. I mean, at the end of the day, the website's always on, isn't it? It's always there. You can read it in the evening. You don't have to walk up to the thing up there and knock on the door and have a cup of tea with someone. It's always there. It's got it right now. You've got it right now. You can have it all over the world. So there's a separation there between the two. I don't know, in business sense, in charity sense, whatever. I just wanted to make that clear because I'm promoting their website, and there's a lot of Mind on the internet, a lot of different places, a lot of different companies saying slightly, it's all saying the same things under the same banner, but your regional centre will be different to this overarching website. So that's just something that's worth saying about that. That's worth saying about that. I'll do a little sign off for the True Binaural. I hope you've enjoyed it. We're going to put these things on their own channel, so look out for that. You be good, my little Pukos, you be good. That's an easy sign off for the True Binaural ones. Bye-bye, edit. And we've done mindfulness, haven't we? We've done it. Not all of it, no. Yes, there's lots more, isn't there? Mindful eating, mindfulness of dogs. Yeah, we could do more, but we've done an hour and a half. I think we're good. I think we're good. Where's my big face? There's my big face. Why, look! There's your dollars. Woo! Chippy cheers. How do you remind yourself to be mindful? Quite often I feel anxious. That's the best one for me, when I'm like, feeling a bit, when I can feel it. I'm like, hang on, I need to be more mindful here. There's that. But also, my brain goes too fast sometimes to remember to stop. Yeah. It's okay to think about things, I think, I think it's okay to not always be mindful. Sometimes you're at work and things are busy, and you're hacking through those tasks, or in your life things are busy, aren't they? You don't always, I'm not certain it's really effective to spend every 10 minutes doing meditation for every decision and everything, but certainly the routine of it, I suppose, learning from what we talked about today. I'm going to say this instead, actually, slightly. You don't know what I was going to say, so it doesn't matter. But learning what we learned about today, when things start getting fast, when you recognise that they're fast, you're saying that you don't remember to stop. That's the key, isn't it? You know, in your looking back on it, in hindsight, you can say that's happening. You know it happens, but it's in the moment. You're not recognizing it as easily, or at least even if you are recognizing it, you're not able to step away from it. Now we've talked about this, I guarantee that the next time you're feeling it's running away from you, or it's one of those situations that you're zooming along, you will actually now be able to think to yourself, is this a zooming? I think this is a zooming situation, isn't it? We've talked about this. I've looked at it. Without practice, like we said, it's a practice thing. Without practice, it's not going to happen at all. So, but now we've brought it up in conversation. Now we've talked about it. Now you've thought about it. The next time it's happening, and only you know, true in your head what those moments are. You can reflect on them now, and when they next, those sort of things. When it next happens, it's one of those things that, like, don't think about a blue penguin. You're thinking about a blue penguin. If you see a blue penguin, you'll be like, oh, we talked about the blue penguin. It'll just pop up in your head, and you'll be like, this is one of those moments. This is a mindfulness moment. It will just keep happening, and it will happen more frequently and more easily the more you practice doing it, I suppose. So that's one thing. Definitely that. I think that's true. But then the other thing is it's a practice thing that I find a little reminder. For me, I've got a routine. So walking the dog, knowing that I've got to do that in half an hour. That my walking the dog thing is a big part of my mindfulness. I'm outside. So it's a change of scenery. It gives me a chance to think, but also, like I said, a chance to not think and to just do the mindful thing of taking it in, feeling the air. So having routine mindfulness in your routine. So maybe you've got a phone alarm that goes off every 2 hours that says, have a little breather. I got that on my watch. My watch kept telling me to breathe, and I kept saying, F off, this is not the time. But maybe that's why it was telling me, is because now is the time, because, you're getting a bit, doing a lot. And it's not easy when there's a lot happening. This is really cool, though. This is really cool as a thing to think about. This is related to sports again, but I'm realising that the more sports analogies I bring in, the more sexist this becomes. So I don't want it to be about sports. When things are happening fast, when that intensity is amping up, the people that make the best decisions, the most successful decisions, are the people that can step back from it, take a pause, gather their thoughts, and make a good decision. And while everyone else around you is losing their head and blaming it on you, while everyone else around you, just going to get the old poem up. You see how this means so much throughout your whole life, and how you can take just one word, one line, and learn so much. Where's my browsing? Word browsing. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, if you can stay calm when everyone else is losing their shit, it's getting mad, it's getting wound up, it's running about, it's reacting, yelling at you, saying it's your fault, the thing that they're reacting to, they're kicking off. It's all going on. If you can stay calm, if you can keep your head, keep your head. It's the first thing on the list, isn't it? It's the first thing. When we were doing that in the training, we were cutting up these... oh, bless you. Nick cried when I read that on my depression confession. I cried when I read it on my depression confession. It's nearly making me cry now. Now even more so, because when I did the depression confession, my mentor and coach that had taught me this was still alive, and I still saw him for the occasional pint. But now, not only do I not drink pints, I didn't drink pints back then. I'd store him. He had the pint, I didn't have a pint. But we used to meet up. Now I can't because he's died. and he died because of the COVID. The fucking COVID. Sorry, I swore. He died because of the COVID. And yeah, so now when I read this, it really, it brings up all these other things. But it's important. It's so important. It's so important. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you, it's a wonderful, line by line, this is so useful. But it's not, I don't think it's as useful to take it all in one. I think it was because we took it in these little sections, we learned these little lessons, and then you put it all together. Then you're walking, then you're striding, then you're running, then you're running, and then things are happening. But you can keep your head. This is why it's important. This is the first one. The first one. If you can keep your head, that's a great video. Thanks for saying it's a great video. It was just the truth that needed to be spoken. I've got to say about the thing about that. It's down here in here about the truth you spoken. Where is it? If you can bear to hear the truth you've spoken, twisted by knaves to make a trap for fools. I just got to mention this because it's true. I'm not ranting about it. It's the past. But some people suggested that I made that depression confession video before the Raffy Taffy incident to gain support for when I went on some Raffy offensive. They thought that I had something to do with it. Like, I did it before it even happened. Madness. The knaves twisting the truths I spoke to make a trap for fools. You got to bear to hear it. You've got to bear it. If you can bear it. You've just got to bear it. Watch the things you give your life to broken. Watch things get ruined. Watch things be ruined. Watch a million people, watch everyone in the world leave a hateful comment on your video and give it a dislike and write, this drama thing. But stoop and build them up with worn out tools. It doesn't matter if your tools are worn out. They're only worn out because you're so used to crafting, you're so used to using them. They're good tools. They're not worn out. They're well worn. They're the tools you've got, and that's what you use. And you build them up again, don't you? You stoop, you bend down, you don't be afraid to lower yourself to hard work. Even if people have smashed everything over, even if people have kicked down your sandcastles, get your bucket, get your spade, let's go again. And this first one, I wanted to focus on this first one really. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. And the reason it's so important, it's the first one, because it's about keeping your head. This is all about your head, isn't it? This Mental Health Monday. It's all in your head. All of it. And it's all in your head. It's all in your head. We can share these things, but you take them home and they're in your head. We share them. We all share them. We all feel these same things, but they're in your head. I get it. I get that. I understand that. And sometimes it feels like it's only in your head, doesn't it? It feels like it's too much for your head. If you can keep your head, if you can keep it, if you can take that time just to slow things down. The referee wants you to go back on guard. This is, I'll do big, where's my big face? I'll show you some. You won't be able to see all of me, won't you? It's just my face. When you stood on guard, when you're fencing, you stood on guard. The referee says on guard, you stand there ready with your sword in position, head up, on guard. Then he says pray, which means are you ready? He's in French. On guard, pray, allez. And when he says allez, you're fighting. That's it, go. It's go. Allez, let's go. So you've only got on guard, pray, allez, and then you're in, right? So it's quick. You do it, you fight to 15 points. So, fight a point. Okay, halt. This one, that one, you won that point. Okay, on guard, pray, allez, and they drive you into it again. Every time, you fight a point, and then, okay, this point, parry riposte, score left, on guard, and they want you on guard. They want you back. They want you on guard. They don't want you wandering off and messing about. They've got 15 points to get through. They've got another fight to get through. The referee's in charge, on guard, and that keeps happening. And that's life, that's life. You fight your point, and then on guard. No, wait, I wanted 10 minutes. I want to analyse what I've just done. I just did a parry riposte. Now what's he going to do? What's going to happen next? Do I need a little drink? I haven't got time for that. It's on guard. It's on guard. You keep zooming along. You keep zooming along. Life is throwing things at you while you're zooming along. You're driving fast and things are flying past. It's on guard. It's on guard. Pray. You ready? Because we're LA. We go. During that process, it was important as a coach to teach us as students, as young people, to face up to that referee. Because sometimes, and I've been in those situations where I've been a young kid and the referee's been an experienced international fencer, an experienced international referee. They're intimidating to me with their, rules, and they're telling me if they want to send me off, they can send me off. If they say over there now, I was like 13. I'm not going to argue with these people that I respect and admire, and the German referee and the Italian referee. I don't know them. They've got the rules. So when they're there, on guard, you need to teach these young people to be able to say, halt, no, put my hand up, no, I'm not ready, I need just a minute. I just want to adjust my britches. I just want to pull that down. I just want to check my sword, plug it in properly. Okay, thank you. Now I'm ready. When I was doing those things, okay, I was buying a little bit of time, wasn't I? I was, pretending it was about my sword when actually it was about my head. If you just lost 2 points in a row, if you just lose a point, you get hit. I thought he was going to hit me here, he's hit me here. I want to think that through. On guard. I need to think. You haven't got lots of time to think, but that extra second, let me just adjust my sword. What people used to do, it was it was like gamesmanship and stuff, but they'd maybe unplug something, and the referee would say, hey, plug that back in. Oh, sorry, it came unplugged. You don't do it over and over, but little moments for mindfulness maybe. If you can keep your head, if you're losing points, if these things are flying past you, you've seen sport. It's sport for me is an easy analogy because I used to do it, but it matters. If you're taking those orders in the bar and you're starting to lose it, and you've had 10 now that have started to go wrong, and you've done the last 3, you've done rum and coke when it was supposed to be vodka and coke, and you can feel it building up. And there's another person. Hey, on guard. Hey, on guard. I want you now. My turn now. That's when you need to keep your head. When everyone else is starting to lose it. Hey, on guard. Hey, me now. And they're blaming it on you. You got my drink wrong. You got the last one wrong. You're 3 points down. What are you doing? That is when you need to keep your head. That's when, if you can keep your head, if you can, and it follows through, the bottom line is yours is the earth and everything that's in it. If you can do these things, you can have anything you want. You can do anything you want, and you can be anything you want. And no one can tell you no, and no one can stop you from doing it. It doesn't matter if you're a girl and you want to be a boxer. It doesn't matter if you're a boy and you want to be a ballet dancer. It doesn't matter. It's what you want in your heart. You can have it if you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs. Little moments of mindfulness. Now we'll remember that, won't we? We'll remember to keep our head. We'll remember to take our time to say, no, wait, hang on. I just want to breathe in here. I'm ready. On guard. Going to set me off again. Yeah, it's going to set me off again. It does, but that's fine as well. That's fine because we care and because we feel things that are real and they're good things to feel. They're the real. That's the real life. That's not your makeup and your Instagram, is it? That's not your auto-tune. That's the real life. That's the real life. That's what being human's about. It's not my filtered. I can't filter it. It doesn't come filtered. Comes raw, and that's part of it. Because the things that make you lose your head, the things that come at you, when people are losing theirs and blaming it on you, that feels hurtful. It hurts to be blamed. It hurts to have people point the finger at you and call you names. That's the real life. That's the raw. And that's why we practice these things. You know, we take these things on board and we allow them to dissipate. And it's good because we're stronger for feeling real things, for facing up to real feelings, for working them through and moving on and moving forward. We're stronger for that. This isn't a poem about how to F up your life, how to walk home in third place. This is a poem about how to have everything you want. And what we wanted when I did this, the first time I learned this, I wrote on that board, I stood up in front of everyone and I wrote it on the board. I want to be an Olympic champion. And the people, some people laughed because here's 10-year-old Scott, 11-year-old Scott, and he's in front of all the people, and they're not Olympic champions. The best people in the club are not Olympic champions. You know, they're national champions at this point. He's up there writing on the board, I want to be Olympic champion. They laughed at him, but the coach wouldn't let them. The coach told them off. Told them off for laughing at him. You know, and he said that he can do it. He can do it because he's up there writing on the board, because he wants it. And you laughing at him, you won't do it. He'll do it. That's what he said. And okay, I didn't get to go to the Olympics, but, you know, I got to go to the World Championships and it was good enough for me. Maybe it wasn't, whatever. Who knows? This isn't about me. This is about you and what you want in life and what you can achieve. And it's everything. It's everything. I didn't know this is where we were going to go on Mental Health Monday today. This is just a little chat at the end, isn't it? It's just a little chat at the end. But this is it. This is resiliency. You're right. This is resiliency. This is about learning about what's in you that you can bring out when you need to. It's about your sword and your shield, you know. It's about your sword and your shield. This is, yeah, I'm just riffing, I'm just jamming on. I'm prepared to say anything about this. Yeah. It's your sword and your shield. Things like this, it might be that this isn't, you know, for you, this poem isn't the thing. It might be that you've got something else, something talismanic, something important that helps you, that you can refer to. But there is something really special about this particular poem, If by Rudyard Kipling. There is something, I know that Rudyard Kipling is probably a bit of a racist by today's accounts. He didn't write anything racist in this, which is good. And it's sexist at the end. Yeah, you'll be a man, my son. We ignore that now and we say, you know, you'll be a person. And just, that's not the most important thing. The concepts of manhood, of masculinity that tied into that were important to me as a young boy. But I understand that that is a bit, you know, it's a bit of a shame that that is an error maybe on there. And it should say, you know, which is more, you'll be a person, a human, you know, whatever. You know, we had female champions in our club as well. So we weren't restricting to that. But yeah, it's good, isn't it? It's good. It's good. I'm an Olympic champion in humanity. Thanks. You don't give out any, you don't get, like, I can't explain. This is going to make me sound so big-headed and stupid. But on the way to going to the World Championships, it's not big-headed or stupid, actually. It's going to be sentimental. Not that one. Not that one. Back to this. Not that one. Big face. Where's my big face? This one. I'm going to have to blow my nose a little bit, or at least wipe it. There's the COVID on there now. You got the COVID on the tissue now. Make sure you put that in the bin. On the way to getting there, I didn't start out as like being really good. I had to go through all these different stages of it, of working hard at it and trying to get there and going on competitions and camps and all this sort of stuff. And I remember wash my hands. Exactly. Yeah, I should wash my hands now. But it's just me in my house. No one's touching this, so it's okay. This whole area. And I don't have the COVID because I did a test just like 3 days ago and it said no COVID and I haven't been out since. So, anywho, look, I was young and I did my first competition. I was 13 and I got bronze, and it was tough, I guess. I remember it really vividly. A girl beat me, and my dad was like, why did a girl beat you? I thought that you were supposed to be good at this, and a girl beat you. Yeah, it was tough, and I came third, and okay, we'll be there in a minute, Holmes. We will deal with you in a minute. And that, what happened was that our coach, bless him, David, I should name him, shouldn't I? I should say his name, David Kirby. He used to put results in the paper. It was important for the club to move forward. The successes were seen in the community, and for the school itself to, because the school was a big rugby school. It was prided itself on playing rugby, and fencing was like a minority sport within this plethora of opportunity: hockey, rugby, tennis. Fencing wasn't this like big player, and we wanted to use the hall, and we wanted to use the resources, and we wanted the opportunities. So in order to get them, we had to show that we were achieving and worthy of, can we use the hall on Thursday? Yeah, okay, the badminton people can play somewhere else because you're going to the national championships. You know what I mean? So there was that going on. So these results were printed in the paper, and it was cool. Like, it was in the newspaper, the local newspaper, not the national, local newspaper. Fencing competition, Kes fencers, did well. One here, and I was third. So I saw that in the paper. I was third, and I thought that's enough for me now, isn't it? I need to improve that. I need to improve. Omar, please stop me, Owen. I'm talking on the internet. Whatever it is that can wait. You've got a cat flap and you've got food. So it wasn't loads of, so much pressure. Yeah, it's pressure, and my dad was pressure. Well, it was pressure, yeah. It was pressure, but there wasn't, it was good pressure in a way as well. I don't know if I wanted to brag to anyone about anything ever, about any of this. I never felt that I'd got to the point where I was like satisfied enough to turn back and say, look at what I've done. It was always, okay, I've done this, now I can get to that. It was always these stepping stones that took you to this next level. So when I went to the Worlds, going to the Worlds was like the thing, but I was like, okay, I've done that, now I'd like to, or maybe I, can't, maybe I have to give up. It was, the next step was Olympic level, and it was that one, or anyway, slightly different story. But yeah, I saw that in the paper, and it wasn't good enough. Third place isn't first place, is it? So then there was this continual. There were loads of other people in my club that were good. There was like my friends Alistair, Martin, Aidan. So we'd go to these competitions. Sometimes they would win. I remember Alistair won the national championships one year, and I think I lost to him in the semi-final or the final. Can't remember exactly which round it was, but it was a really close fight. It was a big fight, and I was so pleased that one of my best friends won the national championships. Obviously I felt frustrated it wasn't me, but I felt pleased for him. I felt pleased that us as a club, we succeeded in such a big way. So that was going on, that was going on. His name was in the paper, my name was in the paper, and it drove me to want to do more. When we were 15, I went to Annecy, and I was the first, this is me bragging a little bit, I was the first British person to win an international competition for about 40 something years or something. I don't know exactly. David knew. He put it in the paper. And my dad took a photograph. This is the other side of the coin as well, right? My dad, who was pressuring me to do well, was also the person that would applaud me when I did. So he took this photograph. He was into photography. He took a photograph of me with my cup and my mask under my arm, like, schoolboy fencer wins cup. And we gave it to the local news. They printed it in the paper. So it was there in the newspaper. Jessup leads way in British success. I've still got that. Probably not. I used to have it in this room hung up. I still got that. I'll tell you why in a minute. But they printed it in the paper. It was there. Why is this relevant? Why is this relevant? I've forgotten exactly why it's relevant, but my uncle, my great uncle, my dad's uncle, he kept that, and when he died, they gave me this envelope that it wasn't like he'd left me these things in the will, but they were like, we think you might want to have this because he kept it. And, we don't want to throw it away here for you. And so I've framed it now and I've got it. It's that newspaper cutting. Yeah. I don't know why it was relevant. I've forgotten why it was relevant. If you can keep your head when all about you are losing theirs and blaming it on you. Bragging. And I've lost the sync now. Oh, right, yeah. Because I tell you why that is. It's because I clicked on that other window by mistake, and it come back, and now it's out of sync. Got you. And the cat's meowing, and I've got to walk the dog. So we've had a good time. We've been good. I've told you some secrets, some truths, and I really appreciate, I tell you what, I really appreciate you being here, helping me along with this. I don't just mean the stream, do I? I don't just mean the stream. Of course I mean the stream, the technical things, the bits, the involvement, the engagement, whatever those things they say in those marketing clubs, those sort of things. Yeah, of course I mean that. But what I really mean is this thing, isn't it? The real thing. Thank you for helping me with this. Because, it is allez. Yeah, allez, exactly. Now I've got to pray. Allez. On guard. The cat's going, on guard, on guard. I need food. Dog's going to need a poo. I need to pick that up. You got your bags? Ready? Allez. Okay, you be good, my little podcast. You be good.